Hello and welcome to the Utah Puck Report. Glad to be here. Season 6 fully going. And obviously Utah hockey, we have to talk about the Utah Grizzlies. And Ryan Kinasewich in the building. Good to have you back, Ryan.
In the building, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
It has been a while. We're glad that you're back. I know we really thought maybe you wouldn't be here this year. With things moving around with the Avalanche, we were hoping you were going to move up. I know that you're interviewed for some stuff, but we're glad you're back. You may not be as glad to be back, but we're all glad that you're here.
I'm happy to be back. This is home for me now, so my wife's from here, and it couldn't be a better spot. Obviously, looking for advancement in your career is one thing you're going to look for, and it was a good process to go through with the Avalanche this summer.
Yeah, it's funny. One of the things I always relate kind of fire and hockey, but one of the things I talk to firefighters about all the time is that take every opportunity you have to interview for advancement. And whether you really want the job or whether you think you have a legitimate shot, take that chance and just take the interview. Because then next time, if it really means something or you really do have a shot, or if you don't get it this time and you really wanted it, you still learned something from it. And I think that's just good advice. That was advice given to me when I was younger as a firefighter, and I always try to take all those opportunities and just learn and grow and see what people are looking for and find out what kind of questions they're going to ask you in an interview.
Yeah, and it gets you out of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
So it just going through that entire process, like it was a month-long process. It was long.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a great experience for me.
Yeah, I bet. And with the success you're having and the respect that you've gained in the East Coast League, I'm positive that's not going to be your only chance at advancement in hockey. And let's talk about that a little bit. Is this season 3 for you?
Season 3. Yeah.
Season 3. And now you've got the season 1 was unreal.
Yeah.
Like that's hard to beat without winning a championship, right? And now season 3, how do you build, what are you doing right now to build a team, and what kind of players should we be looking at, and what should we expect coming up?
Yeah, I think a lot like the first year. Obviously, you try and emulate that year. Yeah. It's tough, but we put a focus on building from the back end out again. Like we had, obviously, tough to replace the guy like Dastu,
Yeah.
But we got some pretty high-end defensemen coming in this year, and our decor is probably the deepest it's been since that year. So it's obviously a lot of optimism, and obviously we have a lot of good forwards coming in as well. The Eagles they'll be sending us quite a number of players this year. So
you seem to get more help from the Avalanche than most East Coast League teams get from their parent club. Is that?
Yeah, that's probably fair to say.
So does that, in a way that helps you, in a way that kind of handcuffs you from going out and grabbing exactly what you want? Like you only have so many spots available, right?
Yeah, no, they're so good with there's internal discussions. Like I have a lot of say in the guys that are coming in on those 2 ways or 1 ways. So, we're looking at players together. So it's
I didn't know that.
It's it's great. So typically those are your high end guys that are coming in. So. It's just puts a big focus on signing a lot of good depth.
Right. Guys that have the potential to move up.
Yeah.
Which then creates that other problem of guys moving up all the time. And
yeah. I mean, we're a developmental league, right?
Right.
So I was talking at the office today with my new assistant, and we were just like, that's part of the game when you get to call a guy in and say, hey, you're going up to Belleville or Syracuse, whatever. I see a big smile on their face. Like, you're doing your job. You're helping these guys get there. So
right.
You take it. It's not fun when you get these calls, especially when you're depleted a little bit, but it's part of the gig, and you just got to roll with the punches.
I tell you, the ECHL coaches, man, they earn their money because you're just nonstop. You have to be looking at players all the time. You can't just go, all right, I've got my guys and we're going to run with it. And I'm going to lose 1 or 2 to injury and one or two to pull-ups or whatever, and we're going to deal with it. You're losing 5 or 6 to pull-ups, a couple injuries here and there. Goalies are going everywhere. Like, you'll get one signed goalie, you'll get a free agent goalie that in the past we've had every AHL team starts looking at our free agent goalies, and like with Metcalf, like he plays for 3 AHL teams in one season, and then you've got your starting goalie moving up to your AHL team all season. I mean, it's just nonstop. You got to earn your paycheck.
You go back to that. I mean, the Brady DeVries story in Rapid City when we lost Miner and Jones right after Christmas, and then Metcalf, excited to get his opportunity, gets called up too.
Yeah.
And then I fly a goalie in from the SPHL, and he tests positive for COVID.
Yeah.
So we end up playing like a guy from Grand Canyon University.
Right.
That doesn't happen a lot, but like there's stories like that. And
well, I remember you talked to me and you're like, hey, any chance you could be here? And then we even talked about Tegan, who's in studio, or like, you're desperate if you're calling me. And then and then when we get to Tegan, we're like, hey, we know he's practiced with the Grizzlies, but he's also a soccer player by trade. And not by trade, but just by picking, I guess. We're not going to make fun of you, Tegan. But anyway, it's just, AHL coaches don't go through that. Like they don't. There's going to be, well, not anymore. Back in the day when you're spread out more.
Well, they still go through it. I mean, if you look at the Avalanche last year, there was one point they had 12 regulars out of the lineup.
Right.
So that's not good for the AHL team, or especially not the ECHL team.
Yeah.
So
yes, that's depleted for sure.
And it seemed like it was, most of the year we were depleted. It was really not until the last weekend of the year against Tulsa when we talked how big a weekend that was, and we finally got some guys back. It was a trying year, but
you could really see it. Like I could hear it in your voice. You're like, I'm there. I've got it. We're gonna go, and I feel it. And you told me it wasn't on the show, right? Was it just I think it was just in your office.
No, we did Zoom. Before that weekend.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It was,
and you're like, we're a competing team now. We're gonna be.
Yeah, I knew that when we got those guys back, like that was the original team we kind of had from day one, and it got blown up first weekend. Like Kyle Betts, who he played 2 games for us, and then got called up for the entire year and played the last 3 games for us to make him playoff eligible.
Right.
So, you sign those guys full well knowing like he's probably not going to be with you all the time, but you don't expect guys really to be up that long. And good on him. He's a heck of a player, and he earned his way up there and earned his way in a lineup for the entire year.
Yeah, he was fun to watch.
Yeah.
We talk about it a little bit, and I want to talk about the Avalanche too, because I mean they win the cup and then they come back the next year and they're completely just decimated with injuries, and I mean you can't lose your captain basically, and that was just the start of it, right? And then you just try to rebuild from there with Landon Skog being hurt for so long, and but this year things are looking really. I mean, I'm hoping I actually put some money down. Don't say that out loud, but
yeah, we won't.
I actually went through and I'm like, I'm gonna put. This is my choice, and the odds were actually pretty good. They're
what are they, like 5th ranked odds?
When we were in Vegas, they were 2nd overall to win it. They had Vegas
first.
They had Vegas again.
Vegas, okay.
And then they had Colorado, and then honestly, like Carolina was up there. I know it's changed a lot since
then.
then.
Edmonton's up there.
Yeah, Edmonton's up there.
Dallas was up there too.
Yeah, I think that's like your top 5 right there.
Yeah,
Boston's up there again too.
Are they?
Yeah. I was kind of surprised.
Bergeron gone?
This might have been before Bergeron announced.
Okay.
Because we hit it pretty fresh, trying to capitalize on some odds before.
It's a safe bet. I mean,
I think they're so good, and just watching how
they're so fast.
Yeah,
it's crazy watching them.
And that Makar, man, he's just reinvents.
He's on a different level.
Yeah, he's reinventing the game from the deep back. So getting back to the Grizzlies, and one more question before we talk about the current lineup. We talked about how, how you get players, but if there was a Ryan Kinasewich built team, do you have like leagues you go to? Are you like, I'm gonna go to the Dub to find gritty defenseman. I'm gonna go to the Q to find me some finesse guy. Is that still a thing? I know that back in the day that used to kind of be the talk.
Not really. I'm just kind of looking for the best available player in that specific position. I I don't really care where he plays, or played, as long as he's a quality person and obviously a good hockey player. But I played 5 years in the Western League, so I'm a little
ask if you're a little biased, yeah.
Towards, I love the kids from the small towns that, kind of still have the hard work instilled in them.
Farm boys?
The farm boys, stuff like that. So, but, we've found guys all over the place. So it's just a constant. Your phone, my phone just rang with another agent here.
Yeah. I've been since we've been sitting here, I watched your phone and watch go off probably 20 times. So,
yeah. And it's not people's calling to say hi.
It's like, you got room, I got a guy.
Yeah.
I've done it, man. Like I said, I was the pretend agent for 2 years, and I tried to make it as easy on the coaches as possible. I would email them, and I'd have a link to their, just click on this player, and here's a link to their hockey DB or their elite prospect, and here's a link to their highlight reel, and try to make it as easy as possible to get players noticed. But also, you got to understand, I'm one of 20 guys calling the same coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's
honestly the highlight reel. You're just watching the best of that player.
Yeah.
Right. So, if you really want to get in depth, you got to sit down and watch games on them.
Right.
You got to see
Do you have time to do that? If you get a player that you're like, all right, this maybe not a lot of people know about this guy, I'm going to sit down and watch a couple games.
Yeah. Well, with Jordan Martell last year, we were thinking of making a trade. We watched probably 3 or 4 games on him.
Oh, really?
Just, one game. It took a while to make the trade, but we went in depth just to see what we were going to get in that player. So
you just re-signed him again, right?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so let's talk about what we got Metcalf, right?
Yeah.
He's signed.
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of question whether or not, because who was going to be in net for the Grizzlies? Was there going to be room for a non-Colorado player to be a Grizzlies goalie? But yeah, you got Metcalf.
Yeah, who signed with the Eagles.
With the Eagles.
So I would assume we're going to see some of him. And, the thing with doing Garrett's contract is, the Eagles wanted a lot of say from me and, what I thought on him and his work ethic and the type of person he is and, his dedication to the game. It's second to none. You know him pretty well. And it was nice to, to make that call and, just let him know that Colorado wanted to sign him. And he's had a smile on his face all summer.
Nice.
So, and, him being under ECHL contract the last few years he's been kind of handcuffed.
Yeah.
Right? Because in our affiliation agreement, our contract players have to play. There's a reason for the agreement, and they're placing goalies they've invested in, and they obviously want them to see the net. And Garrett kind of got the short end of the stick there for a couple of years, but so he should get a pretty good opportunity this year to show what he's all about.
And it's been posted that Francois, or however he says, Frankie, the other goalie for the Avalanche, is not going to be healthy.
Yeah. So that kind of throws a wrinkle into
so they're really looking.
Who else we get? You never know at this point.
If they go out and trade or if they actually really do pull somebody up. Because one of the starting goalies for the Avalanche or for the Eagles last year.
Noonan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's he at? Then
he's back.
He's back. And then the other one signed.
Holm, I believe, Swedish kid.
Yeah. One of them signed and went back home wherever he was from. I can't remember the kid's name. Too many people.
Johansson.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So, anyway, one left, and they're wondering who might get the call up if Frankie wasn't able to go. But honestly, what that matters to us is where's Trent Miner going to end up? Is he really going to get the shot? Is he going to be the guy for the Eagles next year? It seems like when you when you play the way he's played in the East Coast League, it seems like he earned it.
Yeah.
Earned his shot.
Yeah. Trent, I was just in Vegas. He played for the NHL rookie tournament, and he started game 1, and he was under fire from the get-go, and he played amazing.
Yeah.
It was great to see. And you want to see those guys get rewarded, right? As they go through the steps, and another tremendous person, and him and Garrett are such good friends. It's good to see both of them succeeding.
Yeah, that's good. It's funny as a goalie. The way I grew up, you're always kind of like taught to be adversarial with the other goalie. Like, oh, you're trying to take my job or whatever. And then as I was coaching, I always I felt it worked better when the goalies supported each other. And it seems like that's kind of like the pro style now, is that, hey, they support each other. When I was coaching the U18 and U16, AA, AAA, whatever we had, and I had my son and then I had another goalie, and those guys they worked so well together. There were times where we'd pull up to a tournament and I'm trying to decide who's playing what, and they would just come to me and be like, hey, we already decided, I'm going to take this game, Tegan's going to take that game. And it was kind of funny. In a way, a coach could be like, no, I'm going to tell you, but it worked. And those guys kind of understood each other, and really, to have a duel like that.
Well, especially in today's game.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the old days where, like, Marty Brodeur played 75 of 82 games, right? You truly have a tandem. And you saw it firsthand last year with Boston.
Yeah.
And then they abandoned it in playoffs, which was weird. You know? But yeah, the camaraderie and the goalies, goalies are they're a special breed. Right, Tegan?
We both look at Tegan. They're special.
Yeah, but for them they have their own language, their own lingo. For them to get along, right, it makes all the difference in the world.
Well, I thought it was nice, too. It surprised me. The first time it ever happened to me, I was sitting on the bench with Idaho, and I was backing up an All-American who had already won a championship in the East Coast League. And he comes over. He'd given up a goal, and he came over to me, and he goes, hey, what do you think I missed on that? And I kind of...
The puck?
You're talking to me? Yeah, the puck. I'm like, you're talking to me? Like, you want critique from me? And you sit down and you start talking about stuff, and then even with practices here, when I'm practicing with the other goalies, you're right, we do have our own lingo. We start talking about, your RVH over here when you couldn't,
RVH,
and
I don't know about
You're not a fan of it?
No, I'm not.
No, I get it.
Shooters are too good nowadays. Like, that RVH leaves so much room up top.
Yeah, if you do it right, it doesn't.
The old Jay Stevens just stand there and take away the net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It blows people's mind when I don't butterfly.
Yeah. You don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Right? Because everyone wants to shoot high.
Honestly, yeah.
So they're waiting for the goalie to butterfly.
The game that I got put in, I think I made 2 or 3 saves because the people, I was just still there, and they thought I was going to go down.
Just outsmarting them, right?
Well, I just out-olded them. They thought I was going to be quicker than I was, and I'm not. So, there's definitely something to be said for that. But yeah, so that's good. And then the other part of that is that it also cuts down any clicking or any drama, because you used to have, this goalie had this set of friends and that goalie had that set of friends, and you might see them play different in front of a goalie. But now it's just like you just see a more cohesive team when the goalies get along and support each other.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it firsthand as a coach, like where goalies can be a little different, right? And where guys on the team aren't big fans of theirs, they don't play as hard in front of them, whereas like Metcalf and Minor over the last couple of years, like guys love them, and they'll do anything for them. Like they'll play hard in front of them.
I did notice something last year when I was practicing with you guys. Metcalf was gone, Minor was gone, and I was on the net. I was in one of the nets, and I noticed some stuff with one of the other goalies that was that way. Like you could tell maybe the team wouldn't play as hard for that guy, or I can't say that a guy at this level would ever not try his hardest, but you could tell they didn't really. There was some drama.
Yeah,
and it seemed like I could see that, but I wasn't there when obviously when I'm there, that means one of the better goalies isn't there.
Yeah.
So
but at the end of the day, especially at our level, you got to put those petty differences aside.
Yeah,
and it's a job, it's a profession, and you need to show up and play hard, regardless. Of,
hopefully, in the game it wouldn't show, but in a practice there might be a couple off the mask.
Yeah, and I mean I've seen it. My first year, I think, as assistant coach, guys were like that with one of the goalies we had, and it was hard to watch because like some guys would just shut it down in practice. Obviously, the game's different; guys are competitive, but it was hard to watch.
Yeah, I think you and I saw it when you were a player too. There was a couple guys that came through that were bad. But anyway, all right. Let's
goalies. That's all we're talking about.
Let's move on from goalies. I want to talk a little bit, and I don't know how much you can even say. One of the main questions I'm getting right now about the Utah Grizzlies is, now that you've had your owner has passed away, people are worried the team's going to be sold. And what's going to happen? I don't know. Do you even know any?
That's well above my pay grade.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
And then I call and email Kevin Bruder, and he sent me the same freaking press release he sent everybody else. That, oh, yeah, we really like Elmore. He was a great guy, which he was.
Yeah.
But he didn't give me anything I could go back to the fans with.
I don't know if there's, obviously, what he passed in, was it July?
Yeah.
June, July. There's a lot of moving parts inside of, if there was.
Well, it's an organization. It's not just one guy running it.
Yeah. So I don't know if that comes to light. And I mean, his wife still owns it, right? So, yeah.
And
could get news in 6 months, a year. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, and I knew there wouldn't be a solid answer because nobody really knows, and I don't know how anticipated that was, but it seems to me like it's the Elmore Group. They own multiple franchises. They're not just going to close down shop and everybody go away and find new careers.
Well, and I know like the Grizzlies was one of his favorites too. Like he's had it since Denver, right?
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of fans forget that part. A lot of fans, I don't know why people get mad about him not living here. And we had a real good heart-to-heart interview with Youngman a couple years ago, which I still think was one of our better podcasts. Like, just talking about the ridiculous drama that gets created online over ownership, over empty seats, over whatever. And instead of just being like, hey, the Grizzlies are here, we appreciate that they're here, we're going to show support by buying tickets and going to the game. And I just think it's crazy how we lost sight of that. People get mad. Well, our owner doesn't even live here, and that's why there are empty seats. No, there's empty seats because you didn't buy a ticket today.
Yeah.
So buy a ticket, go to the game. It has
nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a huge building too. That's.
He was also a very busy man.
Right.
With, I don't know how many other businesses he owns, baseball teams, catering company, all this stuff. So kind of tough to be in one spot when you're that busy of a guy. And I know he had a place in Salt Lake. I think he still does. So I'm sure he's got, I don't know how many houses the guy has.
Right. Well,
probably a few.
When you're completely loaded, it's okay to own a couple of teams and go enjoy them when you can enjoy them, and then take 6 months off and go enjoy your family.
Yeah.
You're rich.
Yeah.
Do what you like.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would buy the Utah Grizzlies and go to 5 games a year.
No, that's it.
Well, I wouldn't. Yeah. A lot of travel.
Yeah, right. You'd be there every
I'd have a
day.
suite.
Yeah, you'd be there every day. You'd be trying to get on the ice for practice.
Yeah. No, that would be. That's why I would buy the team.
You text me every year. Hey,
I would buy the team and be like the third goalie practices every day.
Well, we have 3 goalies signed, so you'd be the 4th.
Oh, why does Colorado do that to me?
I don't know.
That's all right. I'm 50 now. It's harder. No, I honestly think, like, I don't know. I guess I'd be to a lot of games, but I'd definitely be in your ear every day about who's playing. I'd be the worst owner.
Yeah, I could see that.
What's that Cowboys owner? Always I'd be on the bench.
Jerry Jones?
Yeah, Jerry Jones. I'd be like him.
Yeah.
Sign this guy. Sign that guy.
Yeah, you'd probably have a cubicle in my office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have a cubicle in my office.
I'd have a cubicle in your office.
Yeah. All right.
I guess you're stroking the checks. So.
All right, so you got preseason coming up.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? You've got Idaho right off the bat again.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. In Idaho Falls.
In Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
Is that a newish building?
Brand new last year, which I think the Elmore Group owns them.
Yeah,
well, right?
nice.
So they're moving into NCDC, I believe.
What is that?
I don't know. It's a higher junior league than they.
Oh,
right.
Right.
The Outliers.
Okay.
Provo.
That's the same league?
Ogden and the Spud Kings.
Okay.
So yeah, our Friday game's in Idaho Falls, and then our Saturday game is in Boise.
Oh, you're not playing in Logan this year?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. I like those
We hadn't
games.
played in Logan for a few years. We've been in Ogden.
Oh, right. Well, I remember the Ogden one. You guys should do, you should have 6 preseason games. Don't you need more preseason games?
I don't know. I don't think so. Like Rapid City doesn't have any.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. See, I was always blown away by, you got to camp, you're in camp for 5 days, and then you had a game on the weekend. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I'm not.
We have so many guys, that'll eventually come to us they're at the rookie tournament, they're going to Avs main camp, or they're not.
Right.
And they're going to Eagles camp. And then by the time they get to us, they've already been going for a month.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
But it's good for us that we're close proximity with Boise.
Yeah.
To get, I know we play them all the time, but it's nice to have those games.
Yeah, it's super
to
nice.
Evaluate some guys, obviously, right?
But then you've got those guys that you're getting guys down from Idaho that have already played or from the Eagles who have already played games with the Eagles. But then you've got those guys that aren't going to make the team, but they're going to get 2 preseason games where you get to see them. But you could have more preseason games and be like, all right, this guy got cut, but when the inevitable happens, we're going to pull that guy up from the SP or from wherever that he ended up.
Yeah. I think you should, even with 2 games, you should be able to tell if that guy's ready or not to play in the league.
Yeah.
There might be the odd guy that is that 3rd game going to make that big of a difference.
I don't know. I just enjoy preseason games. I like that.
That's why you're not the owner.
Yet,
yeah.
I got lotto tickets in my pocket right now.
Okay, yeah. Maybe if who do you got winning the cup?
Avalanche.
Okay, if you win that ticket, maybe
that if the Avalanche win, I'll make $13,000. Is that enough to buy the?
I don't think so.
I'll get a suite then. I'll start.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get nesting rights. I'll go in. I'll get my suite. I'll move in, and then good luck kicking me out.
Yeah.
Who's going to be our premier player this year? Who's going to excite the crowd this year?
Can't really say.
Because he's not signed yet, or because you just don't know who's going to perform.
Well, no, it's guys that are up, that are coming our way.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's.
But there's. I mean, we've got an electric scorer.
Yeah, Jordan Martell, who was a point a game guy as a rookie for us. He's back. Dakota Raby, who's probably the fastest guy in the league.
Oh wow.
You got Dylan Fitz, who's been with us for a few years. He can score at any given moment with his shot, and you got Tyler Penner, and there's still a few other guys. Obviously, we got guys coming from the Eagles that I can't name them right now, just for the benefit of them and my job. Because they're there and they think they have a shot at making. Yeah, and I don't want to. Obviously, there's discussions throughout the summer on who's going to be where, and we just kind of let the chips fall where they may, so to speak. It's
because if guys go and have an amazing camp,
you never know, and it could be a different name coming my way. So it's and I mean we got another really big signing that will be announced Monday.
Oh, okay.
So
can't announce it today.
Well, I guess when does this come out?
After Monday.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we can say it. Yeah. We Kyle Betts just re-signed with us.
Oh, okay.
So to me, he's the top 200-foot player in the league.
Oh, wow.
So and he's a center iceman. That's a really big signing.
That's awesome. Speaking of announcements, you guys announced that you have signed a new assistant coach.
Yeah.
And who did you bring in?
Christian Horn.
Christian Horn, who played here.
The COVID year.
Yeah.
Was that 4 or 5 years ago?
I think we're still in the COVID year.
Are we? Yeah.
It's the longest year ever.
I know. So, really excited to he was coaching in Cardiff last year in the English League. So excited to, he brings a passion for the game. And have you met him?
Oh, yeah. I remember him. He's a slick dresser, too.
Yeah,
I remember he was really into suits.
He's a talker, and he's what I want in an assistant coach. And, he came into town a month early here, and he's chomping at the bit to get after it. And, really excited to have him on board.
That's awesome. Well, we're excited about it. I know as things progress and there's going to be a bunch of changes, I'd like to get you guys on the show, at least once a month, if not every other week, and just talk about like how things are going. I get a ton of feedback every time you guys are like I have you on, or we talk about the Grizzlies, or I have Youngman on, and I get a lot of the same questions, which I've already asked you a lot, but I also get new questions, and people like they follow the team. Like, you've got this core group of fans that not just follow the team. Now they're following all the other teams, and they know what's going on. And, hey, did you know that Allen just changed ownership? And did you know, it's funny how involved everybody's getting. And now they're tracking players that were playing in Cardiff and playing in, like, they follow the Grizzlies players wherever they go. So it's fun to see that fan base. I think the internet and I think a little bit of the podcast helps them really get to know
social media
things.
For sure. Plays a big role in that.
It really does.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Actually, one of Tegan's friends from Real Salt Lake's been handling your guys' who is it? Tegan? Kayla? Running your social media. I think your social media last year was better than I've ever.
Yeah.
Like, it was on fire. Great. And it's that Kayla girl. She was on fire.
So you're a big fan of the TikTok when the guys are walking to the rink?
No, I thought the first time I saw the little microphone, I got a laugh. I thought that was pretty funny.
I thought it was funny because we had Victor Bartley signed. He's 34 years old, and he's sitting there with the little mic. I was like, I had a good chuckle over that.
Yeah. No, I think it's awesome to see that part of the game elevated. I think it helps do a buy-in for
it gets the fans to kind of see the guy's personality.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's great. They do a great job, and I know they got a bunch of stuff planned for this year, and I'm sure it'll just keep getting better and better. Yeah, I think you guys are heading the right direction in that, as far as I know, because social media to me is still, I just still watch kitty cat videos on. Yeah, that's. I don't know much about it. Ryan, again, thanks for coming up. Is there anything else you want to say to the fans about the upcoming season, or anything else we can help you with? No, I think that. We got an exciting product this year. I'm really looking forward to it. Expectations will be high. Obviously, last year was great. We made playoffs. We went through probably the most adversity I've ever seen a team go through last year, and to see them push through that final weekend was, made me really proud. And come out and support us, and let's get the Maverick Center rocking. And it's a great spot, especially with the new jumbotron and the board, the end wall board. And everything. It's amazing. The fan experience is so much better, and look forward to seeing everyone out there opening night. The upgrades are amazing. Can we just refresh everybody how the playoffs went last year? No, I don't want to talk about that. Because I know that it was. I've been thinking about it all summer. I know, yeah. But listen, I'm a Grizzlies fan, and I just thought it was it was a weird turn of events, but man, what a cool hockey experience. Every game was worth your ticket price. Yeah, and like we talked about, I knew we were right there with Idaho. Yeah. And one of the goals may or may not have been a high stick in overtime. Yeah. And one was a hand pass. Every game went to overtime, right? Every game? So we won the first two, and then the next four went to overtime. Right. And we lost all four on two questionable goals. But don't you have video review? Or we just don't have cameras? We can't review high sticks. But in our building, we have the cameras to see that it was a high stick. But as far as league rules go, you can't review a high stick. That's so brutal. Because not all arenas have the same cameras that we do. Right. And I understand that, but why can't we throw that in to the buildings that have it? Why can't we review those plays? Right. And it's not a huge upgrade these days to have those cameras that are. You probably have to put in 4 cameras, I think. Yeah, and I spent $45, and I could tell you what's on every shelf in my garage. Yeah, from a cheap camera that's in there. The technology's there, and I know you see what's going on in the NHL they got cameras in the freaking goalposts, for crying out loud. You can have them everywhere. The blue line camera, they got everything now, and I'd like to see everybody step up. And I know I don't own a team yet, but I know costs are one of the reasons, but I think the ECHL as a whole is in a pretty healthy spot, and these teams are becoming pretty profitable now. So I think as a league, and we do talk about it at coaches' meetings and stuff in the summer, and the Board of Governors talk about changes, and they've made changes that align with the NHL, and I think it'll come. It's a little behind.
Yeah, not in time to save your playoffs last year.
Yeah.
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 And who knows? You know, I don't know. That's one of those things where you get it, and then someday it comes back. You're like, I was the biggest advocate for it, and then all of a sudden it costs us a goal.
Comes and bites you. Yeah.
But it makes it fair. Like it's, I get it. That's
as long as there's some consistency in it.
Yeah.
Right? That's all I ask for.
yeah, because that's super frustrating.
Those are hard. When you're staring at the jumbotron and you see his stick, way above his head, and the puck goes in. Like, what do you say to your guys?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what the league said to me. Do you think that makes me feel any better?
It didn't advance you into the next round.
No.
No, but honestly, and I know it's a bitter pill that you guys lost, but as a fan, I went to every one of those games, and man, you were out of your seat. Everything was intense. Every play mattered. Nobody wanted to get up and go get a Coke or whatever. You wanted to sit there and watch the entire game because every second of that game mattered, and the playoffs were intense.
Yeah.
And that's worth it. That's, to me, like, I'd love to see you guys win the championship, but I also want to see every game like that. Like, those are just amazing to watch.
I mean, the first year when we went to conference finals, every game was like that too.
No.
You know, the Tulsa series in the first round, we went 7 games. It's just back and forth, and that's playoff hockey and rivalry hockey,
yep.
and there's just no better sport, right?
Playoff hockey is
it's on a different level.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
What do
the
you
energy
do?
in the building? The minute you walk into the building, it's different.
Yeah, like what do you do in April when the NHL first round's on? Like you're just glued to your TV from 5 p.m. to whenever the last overtime goal goes in. You know, because you got 4 games a night and
some of those, man. Like, and then being at the firehouse and getting toned out in the middle of an overtime game, and you come back, you're like, it's still going, or you miss something amazing.
Yeah.
It's hockey is the best sport around for sure.
I agree. Yeah.
We're looking forward to a season with the Grizzlies.
Yeah, looking forward to it too.
I'm glad you're back, man. I think you're an amazing coach. I'm not just saying that because we're friends. I've been really impressed with what you've done with the team. I think everybody's been really impressed to see what you've done in the last couple of years, and now we're not surprised anymore. Now we're just expecting it from you.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, and I'm going to do everything I can and work as hard as I can to get this team into another deep playoff run again.
Awesome. Well, I'm always here if you need an e-bug.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We just deleted your number, and now it's Tegan's.
That's fair. He is younger.
He is younger, yeah.
He's half my
age. But I think
age.
you enjoy it more.
I would enjoy him being the e-bug more than me being the e-bug.
Tegan gets frustrated out there. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I haven't skated in 3 years, and that was my first time, so it was tough to come back to.
Yeah. You were dodging the puck really well.
At the beginning.
Yeah, that's what.
It's not easy to jump into that, though.
I told my wife, I'm like, she said, well, how did you guys do? And I said, at the beginning, I was dominating Tegan, and then he remembered how to play, and then I might as well have just left.
Yeah. It's like riding a bike, right? Not quite.
Really fast bike.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan. Well, we won't take any more of your time. We appreciate your time. We're excited for the season.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And that is the Utah Puck Report.